What's up, guys, and welcome back to another DFH Locker Room. We are alive. We have made it back from RLCS. This is DFH Locker Room number 7, and I'm joined by my beautiful co-host, Go James Bot Go.
Hello, Gibbs. I'm so glad to be back.
It's been a while, man. It's been a little bit too long.
Sorry,
Guys.
Crazy. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It's been insane.
And the reason why we've been gone is because RLCS has been amazing, and we'll just jump right into that. I think the last time we spoke, it was after people made it to the group stage because we had the whole Doomsy rant and all that. So
yes.
Group stage on, we'll recap a bit. We'll talk about our adventures for the RLCS in general. How was your time, James, at the RLCS?
In general, it was absolutely amazing. Basically, the whole experience was like a longer version of those behind the scenes videos that I put out. So it's been epic.
Yeah, we've all had a really good time, because there's 6 of us besides Golden Boy and Scott Cole, and we've all mingled very well. None of us really knew each other before this too well, and we're all hanging out, having a good time, 24/7 basically until we go to sleep.
Yeah, because they pair us up in the rooms. We don't all get our own rooms. They all pair us up. So since we don't really have a lot of privacy, we're well, let's just hang out then. Yeah, and it actually works out really well. It's awesome. We played that hoops tournament where Golden Boy played in the hoops tournament and Cloud
played in the hoops
tournament.
The Golden Boy versus Cloud game, epic for the triple elimination round and for last place.
It's been amazing. It's been a lot of fun. It kind of is crazy not having that because there was that whole month-long period where it was a staple, and now kind of just back home. So it's crazy. It's just insane. But
this last a weekend was a 3-day weekend for us in the States. It was the first time I was actually home, not doing anything. It was so nice. I actually got some stuff done. It was beautiful. Enjoyed it a lot. But yeah, let's go right into group stages. For NA, the one big surprise, of course, was Vex in that week 1. They came out really strong, and everyone was surprised because they've always been one of the bottom teams out of that group. And they came out really strong, put up some good performances with a 5-0 over Orbit, I believe it was. I could be wrong.
I think they did 5-0 Orbit.
Yeah, and then all their other games were close. It was 3-2s, but that was against Kings of Urban and stuff like that. So they put themselves in a great spot. They were in third, had a 4-game lead going into week 2. And that's when Genesis turned it on with the weaker schedule. They turned it on, beat Mach NA 3-2, and then mopped the floor with Selfless and someone else to make it into the playoffs. Actually passed Vex, who is now Enix, by the way, which we'll talk about them more later. Yeah. And of course, Cosmic and Kings 1 and 2.
Yeah, that was really no surprise. The most of the tournament was not much of a surprise. Definitely the EU side though was pretty intense. Going into that final series was pretty nuts. But totally Vex, probably the biggest surprise of the entire tournament.
And I would say the biggest surprise, match-wise, for the group stages was the 5-0 of Selfless over Onslaught. Was probably the biggest surprise.
Yeah.
And that's what kept Onslaught actually out of the playoffs. They were 2 games behind Vex. So if they would have picked up 3 more wins against Selfless, which they probably should have, a 3-2 at least, then they would have been in the playoffs instead. But they actually blew it against them. But that's why every game counts, because Vex and Onslaught were tied 2-2 going into their Game 5 match. And if Onslaught would have won that game, that's a 2-game swing, plus they get tiebreakers, so they would have been in playoffs for that as well. So that's why in group stages, everything's important.
Shooting themselves in the foot right now.
Yeah, that was rough. And then, of course, the whole Orbit situation, how Genocop left right before group stages, kind of put them in a bad spot. They started off well against Mach NA, but then after that, they kind of faltered and fell to last place. No surprise there. We figured without Gino and with them trying to combine.
They're the only team playing without one of their starters. Not only are they not playing with one of their starters, but Stev, God bless his heart, he's a good player. They didn't practice with him at all, and he is not to the same caliber as Genocop. Genocop is a player that is one of the best players in the world, widely considered, probably a top 20 player, and he just didn't get to play at all. Yeah. And that's just gonna screw any team over. Orbit, there was no way they'd once that happened, it pretty much was a death certificate.
Kind of looks like your room right now, just all bloody. They just got massacred with that roster move, and that was the end of them. And then we'll actually just stay in NA and do the whole online finals, and then we'll go over to Europe. It'll be a little bit easier that way. So then we go into the online finals. We had Cosmic versus Vex. Vex almost pulled it out. Garrett had the goal with 15 seconds left in Game 6 to put it within 1, and then just missed the shot at 0 seconds.
Dude, he tweeted about that immediately.
Yeah,
he right
so
after
salty.
the series, he tweeted about it. He's like, I will remember this moment for the rest of my life.
Oh, man. They played well against Cosmic, but they usually play well against Cosmic. For some reason, they lose to Kings like almost all the time because they play each other a lot in Rocket Royales, which, again, we'll bring up later. But they show up when they want to beat Cosmic. Because, like, everyone wants to beat Cosmic. If you're from North America, I feel like teams will show up for that match, which you should be showing up anyway. It's the RLCS finals, but that's always a little bit more of a pep in your step because you're like, we want to beat the number ones. But Cosmic pulled it out in 6, and then the Genesis Kings of Urban series. Oh, my God.
Yes, that was insane, going all the way to the final game. And, like, there was, like, the two-game lead for Genesis. I so thought they had this upset. And they just couldn't close it.
They even had a 2-goal lead in Game 6, I think it was, and they blew that. Oh.
A minute, and there's like a minute 30 left, and Kings was down by 2 goals or something crazy. And they ended up pulling back.
And plus, for Genesis, like, they want to beat Kings because that's the team that said, we don't think you three are good enough, so we're going to swap around players to form a different team. And Genesis was 1 game away. And if they would have won that game, all these roster moves that are happening might not have happened as well. But we'll
just
we'll
one player moving.
Yeah, exactly. One game.
Shuffle the deck.
Yeah, 1 game difference could have meant everything. And plus, the semifinals for the international finals were the most important games. Like, first and second, sure, there's more money on the line, which, of course, like, everyone wants. But you got to buy into the group stage for Qualifier 2, like, if you came in first or second. So that first game is really important because Open Qualifiers best of 3 is really scary, especially with teams improving. Like, on both sides, North America and Europe, teams that are on that cusp of, like, the top 16 are improving because they want to be part of the show. Like, they see how great it is, see me and James's face on screen. They're like, we want to be talked about. Like, what the hell?
They're just like, that Gibbs guy, he's beautiful.
Yeah.
And he has the greatest suits and that tie clip.
Oh, the tie clip, you know. Like, some days it was too high, some days it was too low. My wife was trying to tell me in text, like, oh, it's a little too high, or it's crooked and stuff like that. And the whole production crew is all men, so none of them knows any
cared.
of this.
I didn't even have a tie clip.
Yeah, no one cared like how we dressed. It was kind of weird.
Had the tiniest little baby nut for his tie. It was like a peanut.
Yeah,
and no one said anything. No one cares. Yeah.
And then Lawler had the giant yellow duck tie. Basically, he just looked like a duck the whole time.
That was crazy. It kind of looked like a non-Christmas candy cane tie. Yeah, it was so bright.
Then we'll go just quickly into the third place game was Genesis versus Vex. It's kind of sucked for Genesis because they just came off the series where they lost, like, in heartbreaker fashion. So they were basically feeling down, and Vex went up 3-0, I think it was, and then finally Genesis woke up a little bit, but it was too late.
Yep, that's exactly what happened. Yeah. And really, you're right. In, like, the big games, like, as a team going in, they probably didn't care about winning the whole thing. Like, the biggest thing was getting that bye right into the group stage for Qualifier 2. Like, that was the game.
Yeah.
So like, even 1 and 2 between Cosmic and Kings, like, they probably were playing a lot more relaxed because they're like, dude, we don't have to slog through a whole qualifier and risk an upset. So totally understandable why it was so, like, Genesis was so devastated because they were playing like a wounded dog those first games. Like, I could feel their pain through the windshield. Like, it was horrible. I felt bad for them.
But at the same time, it's like, you're trying to become top 3 in North America. These are the series where you have to be like, hey, we're professionals. We just lost a tough series, but we need to come back and win this. And James, I just noticed on your headphone wire, you still have the sticker on it. Like, I took that off right away. I was like, that annoyed me so much when I first got it. These were the headsets we actually won for the Xbox ESL monthly thing, and it just annoyed me. Like, I noticed it. I'm like, oh God, it's still there. Sorry.
How do I get this off now?
Yeah,
now
I'm sidetracking everything here, but, like, I just saw it and I was like, oh God, it's really hard to get off. Like, I actually used a nail clipper and, like, clipped it off. because I didn't
So what
have
you're
scissors
saying
for
is
them.
basically this is a fruitless endeavor.
Yeah, don't bother right now. Don't bother right now.
Okay.
But it's gonna annoy me for the rest of the show. I'm just letting you know.
All right.
Then of course we have the North America final.
I'll
Sorry
just
for
cover it up.
that. Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Yes.
Beautiful. Oh man. We had the North America final, Cosmic versus Kings, the match everyone wanted to see, and Cosmic like took a little while. Like it was close games back and forth, and then Cosmic just blew the doors open by the end, and ended on a Brazil, which was really strange because you don't see that a lot.
Shellacked them.
Yeah.
It was like it's like Cosmic was only serious about the RLCS. It kind of seemed that way. Like they were like only like training and playing for the RLCS. Like we even see it about them not showing up and stuff, which I think we're going to talk more later.
We'll talk about that later.
But they made some huge changes when we watched them play in the group stage. They were like, we saw a lot of times where the camera would be on Lachinio and he would be the dude back in the net driving in circles or in the corner lost.
The third man.
Yeah. And this time we saw Gambit being that brick, that anchor in the back, holding down the fort. And that seemed to open them up to play a lot more aggressive and be able to keep that pressure on. And one thing that I noticed too, when they were like before, when Lachinio was the one left in the back a lot, there were a lot of balls that would just bounce out into the mid that no one would finish. Like there would be like watching from auto cam, it'd be like, oh, this is a great center. Someone's probably going to come smash it in. Like no one goes. So didn't see that in the final.
Yeah, like I think a lot of the blame is being thrown on Lachinio when they lose, but I think he's just in that bad situation of being that third man and not knowing when his teammates will rotate back. Like I've been in this situation too with Crow, and Crow does not like to rotate back a lot, so it's hard to read him sometimes when he's going to turn back around and go for another touch when he probably should go back. So it turns into a lot of second guessing. And I think, like, as much blame as Latch gets, I think the same blame has to be thrown on Crow and Gambit. They have to be able to tell him, hey, I'm rotating back, or move up here because I will rotate back. And they just have to do it more often so Latch feels more comfortable to move up. But of course, they had Gambit in the back, but I don't think that was planned. I think it just kind of happened that way because they kind of went back to Latch being that third man again in recent tournaments, and that hasn't really been working for them. And I wonder if they know that they should try and switch, or they're too like, all right, Crow's got his play style.
It's probably not the way they want to play, right?
Yeah, exactly. Crow's got a play style, Gambit's got a play style, Latch has a play style, and it's basically just like, no, Latch, your play style sucks. We're gonna put you in the back. It just turns into that. Like maybe it's like they're not talking and they're just being like, all three of us are super aggressive, but maybe Latch is the most passive one of them, and we'll let Crow and Gambit move up. And like I say this too because like I'm not really coaching them, by the way, which like everyone thinks I'm still coaching them. I'm like, no, I'm just being their manager because of all this RLCS stuff. So I just help them with their contracts and all that. Kind of what James does for Orbit. He helps them there as well. So I'm not really talking about them too much with team strategy. So I let them just deal with it. And it depends if they know it or not. They might know it and they might just not be able to figure it out yet. But I think they'll, eventually they'll figure it out and try and change it up. But I think they just want to play that super aggression, which doesn't always work if all three are being super aggressive like all the time. So they need that Crow or Gambit to like, all right, I passed it. I have to cycle back so Latch can move up. But we'll see what they do in the future. But they did win RLCS. They are the top team in North America right now.
They're doing something that's working.
Exactly.
So we'll wait. We'll have to wait and see because they definitely seem to play better against the better teams with Gambit holding down the fort. But we'll see how they evolve.
And then we go into Europe RLCS group stages. Absolutely zero surprises here.
Yeah, right. It was like, oh, should we talk about predictions for group stages? Maybe a little bit.
I knew you were going to bring this up. Go for it, James. Say your piece, and then we'll get it over.
All right. Well, I mean, this obviously a right prediction that like games like it could have easily gone any way, but I remember we were talking about it and it was fun. Johnny Boy was in chat. There's a bunch of people in chat and everybody like Europe is so close. It really honestly could have gone anyway, but you predicted, I think Flipside
won and then
losing in the final. And I did and vice versa. And so you said it in my behind the scenes video, but like you're just gonna let me take credit for this and just have my moment. So
that was well done. Well done. Well
I
done.
won.
Woo!
No. In your face. No, I'm just kidding.
Sorry. It's the worst.
All right, we can continue.
But yeah, so group stages. Just for the beginning, Weedham Girls #1, not surprising really. Flipside #2, again, not surprising. The big surprise was probably Flipside losing 3-2 to both Maki DU and Weedham Girls, but they still got #2 because Maki DU had worse matches against other teams. Like Zero Effort, they took to 5 games. It was 3-2. So that really hurt them. And then Kapow got in. It was pretty comfortably, like all 4 got into the playoffs.
Europe didn't change day 1 to day 2. Like they just solidified it more.
It was the same. Flying Dutchman, like maybe towards the end, kind of put up a little bit of a fight, but not really. They did get 5th though, which is really important. Team Solid,
were probably the dark horse of the tournament, I would say. Like Flying Dutchman.
Because they got Weedham Girls as well, 2-0.
Yeah, they played awesome. Like they were just like how kind of Vex was the dark horse story. Well, maybe Selfless arguably, but Vex really came in and performed super like way above people's expectations. And like the same with the Flying Dutchman. Like even though they didn't make it to the top 4, they had pretty much no name coming into this. Like they obviously had Vogan, but then Dogu and Jesse really they played very well. They stepped up big time. On
like I think
I was proud of those to see those guys play.
Yeah, like a few weeks before like the RLCS, it felt like it was just Vogan's team, and then we saw them in qualifiers, and it looked like hey no, it's not Vogan's team anymore. All 3 are playing really well, and that really helped them going into the group stage and got the 5th. Like I think. Prediction wise, at that point, I think everyone figured out, hey, Flying Dutchmen are for real, and they got hot at the right time. So, like, I think they did what they had to do. Of course, they would rather 4th or better, but no luck there. Team Solid gets 6th. Actually, threw a forfeit from effort in the last game, which, like, guys, you're in the RLCS. Don't forfeit games, please, because that screws up everyone. Like, Precision Z might have got the 7th spot. It's like, why not play out your games? You're in the RLCS. You're trying to make, like we're trying to make this look good, and then we have teams forfeiting when they can't make it. It's like
that's probably my biggest point. Yeah. That is my biggest point. Is like we, as a community, as the professional players in the scene, you have a responsibility to make this a good experience for the people who are investing in the scene.
Yeah,
like it is for the greater good. Like don't be selfish. Like yeah, your team got railed in the ass, but like just. For the sake of everybody else, do not make this an issue. Like we don't want the people who are investing in us as a community, as a competitive scene, to get a bad taste in their mouth because you forfeit a match. Like people, like companies are putting a lot of money into this.
Yeah.
And like if we want to continue to grow our scene, like we need to do everything we can to just be responsible adults and to come in and like do what we signed up to do. Like forfeiting a series on that stage is just not cool. It affects more than just that team.
And someone in Twitch chat saying, well, they had a forfeit because someone had to leave and they didn't have a sub. It's like, well, guys, you have 5 spots. I don't know why teams aren't filling up their 5 spots. It's like, you should be filling up your 5 spots. Find anyone. Find your brother. I don't care. Just find anyone. It's just like, I don't know.
Dude, play with your feet on
and
one
plus,
control.
like, once you made group stage, you knew that you were gonna have to play this day. So like, unless something weird happens, like Fireburner's hard drive dying, that's a little different, I guess. But still, try not to forfeit. And like, sure, they say maybe someone had to go, but it's like it doesn't look that way because you waited till the last game, you were in 8th no matter what, and then you forfeit. So Team Solid gets 6 because of that. They probably would have got it anyway. They needed a 3-2, but and then Precision Z kind of just like have been playing really poor lately, coming 7th. And then, of course, Zero Effort at the bottom. We go right into the online finals, which I thought the games... So I thought it was going to be 4-1s in the first round, but I didn't realize
Dude, it was crazy.
Yeah, how well Weedham Girls and Flipside were going to beat these teams. It was insane.
I didn't think Flipside was going to 4-0 mock it. Like, I thought Weedham Girls was going to potentially 4-0, like 4-1 Kapow, but I thought it was going to be like a 4-2 or 4-3 in the Flipside match. Like, I did not expect Flipside to just destroy Mocket because Mocket in the past has given them a lot of issues. Like that was basically the old Crown and Jewel squad just having Mystic now. And like they have beat like Mocket is a clutch team and they have always done really well on the biggest tournaments. So like I was expecting that to be a lot closer.
Yeah, lately with Mock, they just have like before they picked up Turbo, which we'll talk about. They just weren't looking great offensively. Here and there, sometimes they go into that passive play style and just don't want to do anything. And I'm like, against Flipside, eventually they're going to score on you because it's Cooksey or Mike and Markey, 3 of the best goal scorers in the game. You know, probably top 10. all three of them. So you can't really go too passive against them because you have to bring some challenge to them. And they didn't bring anything for the first three games. They had zero offensive goals that they produced. Like they had some because Flipside just rotated wrong and then it was just a free net. But the first three games they had zero goals where they set each other up. It was really flat. And I said it during the stream. It's like they looked awful in the big stage, which seemed weird because they're usually so good on the big stage. And then Weedham Girls, not too surprising that they beat Kapow. Like I think they just outclass Kapow in all three spots pretty handily. So I'm not surprised by the 4-0. I figured Kapow would probably take one game just because it's Rocket League and anyone can take a game off anyone pretty much at that level. But well done by them. But then Kapow and Mocket had to rebound and go into that third place game, which actually was a really exciting series.
I had to cast. Well, it was only exciting because I casted it right. I mean, I casted both third place games, and they were the greatest. They were the greatest casted games that I've ever seen in my life.
Third place games, James.
Oh, wow.
No, I'm just joking.
Dude, Gibbs,
to be fair, I made the schedule.
I'm done.
I made it. No.
I'm gone.
So yeah, all right. So now the show is 50% better because James is gone. Oh, he's back.
Savage as damn,
I love you, James. I love you.
It cuts deep. I love you too, bro.
It's great too because you took your headphones off and then I just roasted you more, and now you'll have to wait till the video is out to hear it. So
all right.
So it'll be great. But yeah, it was a great series because both teams finally started showing up. Mocket started doing their passing game, and Kapow's always been really good at their rotational style of having all three players involved, and both teams just it was a wild series. There was a lot of close games, and it was just fun to watch because third place games usually are pretty boring, but then you have James podcasting, and it was a good series. So
10 out of 10. Captain Morgan's got it right. 10
so
out of 10.
It worked out well. And then of course the final that everyone wanted to see, Flipside versus Weedham Girls, and honestly this was one of those any given Sunday type of things. Either team could have probably won, and Flipside was the better team.
Yeah, Flipside, they were hot, right? You kind of got the sense that, and I mean, I don't know if we're planning on talking about it later, but there hasn't been a ton of super high profile tournaments. Obviously the playoffs for the Pro League was probably the biggest tournament aside from this, and they lost that one. Yeah. But still took it to the final game. But Flipside seemed to kind of just be lacking a little bit of motivation issues. But they really it felt like they were taking it super seriously, super serious, man. So it was good to see them come out, and also Cooks stepped it up huge.
Yeah, that's what I was going to mention.
He's so big.
Because in our first show, I think, or second show, we were talking about how Cookser's been in a slump, trying out different cores. There's been some lack of confidence from Mike and Mark to Cookser. Cookser said himself that if we don't do well, then I'm probably going to leave Flipside and all this stuff. So he was definitely down, but he showed up throughout the entire RLCS, and he looks like he's back on track. He looks like a top 5 player again, like he used to be. He was the one doing most of the work for him. I would say he was the MVP of that team for all of RLCS, and
he scored. Really I would love to go back and look. I think I don't have it in the notes, but he on the games we were watching, he's there was a game where he scored all 3 or all 4 goals. It was just him.
Sonic should pay him a bit because he probably sold a lot of Batmobiles during RLCS.
Take a commission.
Yeah, because he was going off on the paddle car for sure. But yeah, hats off to Flipside and Cosmic, both taking their first places. Weedham Girls and Kings of Urban, they also move on to the group stages.
Did you say hats off?
What a sellout.
All right, hats off, man. What do you... I'm going to sell out, guys.
What a sellout.
Sponsored by Rocket League.
Oh, my God.
All right.
Anyway, hats off to them. Hats off to them. Yes, did it. All right. So those teams are going to be into the group stage already. So now there's only 6 spots left for the qualifier 2, which means it's not going to be when you get into the finals where, if you win, then you're in, and you lose, then you would only have to win 1 more. Now, if you lose, you have to win 2 more because you have to play that 1 extra game. So you definitely want to make it in on the winner side of the bracket, because there's only 2 spots in the losers compared to last time when there was 4. So that should be really exciting. It should mean a lot more closer games because the top 2 teams are gone. So we'll be seeing a lot closer stuff in that, and yeah, should be exciting. That comes up June 11th is when they start.
Like 6 spots. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But it sounds like they're making I think they publicly said it. They're making changes to how they're doing qualifier 2, so it won't be all in one freaking day. And I was actually guessed that there will probably be less signups because probably a lot of people signed up that had no idea that there was even a competitive scene. So it's probably a sobering experience for a lot of people who had that was their experience for competitive Rocket League, like the only team they signed or the only tournament they signed up for. So there'll probably be a lot of people who aren't signing up again. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was less. But on the flip side, like they have done more in-game advertising, so it might be more, but if I had to bet, I think there probably would be a decrease in the overall because those numbers were absolutely insane.
Yeah, like I was talking to J-Del, and he thought there was going to be an increase because of how many messed up signups there was in the first one that missed out. But I'm like, I don't think that's going to, like, either they're going to come away with, like, a bad experience when it was their fault and they won't bother with the second one. Or, teams that get beat 16-0 are going to be like, oh, yeah, wow. People can actually play this game, so we shouldn't bother at this point. And they just wanted to try it once, probably. Yeah. But like also like I feel like qualifier 2, there's not a lot of hype around it right now because, of course, the first qualifier it's like super hype. Everyone wants to see how it's going to be casted and all this stuff. And now qualifier 2, that there's more advertising in game, but I feel like outside the game, it's just not getting as much hype like on Reddit and stuff like that. So I think there'll be less people. But the plan is, I think, which might change. The first weekend, we get to the top 128, which would mean 64 in the winners bracket, 64 in the losers. And then the next weekend, we will cast the second weekend, not the first.
So when are we supposed to be back in California?
June 18th, I think.
June 18th?
Like that weekend.
June 18th? That's a long way away.
Yeah. We have 2 more weekends.
All right.
So next weekend,
streaming marathons for the next 2 weekends.
48-hour stream. James Bott just said it. There you go. Yeah, so if you guys planning on playing, signups end this week, I think. So make sure you get your signups in. You will start next weekend. The cast will be in 2 weekends from now. And yeah, I'm excited to see who makes it. Like big stories coming into that is like, will Supersonic Avengers try and fight for that top 4 spot? Because they're roughly the top 4 team right now.
That was the saddest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Like I cried.
And then while we're here, why don't we talk about like who you think are those bubble teams that might not make it from groups 1s to groups 2?
And we'll start in NA. Okay. Obviously, Selfless is a big question mark there. Is A-Money off the team now?
I have no idea.
Okay, so that's a big question mark. Matten says are super, super talented. A-Money's a good player as well. But I
think all 3 are just like a little bit behind the curve in terms of skill compared to like the teams above them.
I think they just like haven't I think they're super good. I think they have a lot of skill, but I just don't think they were like playing in tournaments as much. Yeah. And that was like one reason why they seem to come out of nowhere is because all the tournaments that we watch or pay attention to, like they have not been participating.
Yeah, that's true. Like,
so if they like step it up and like start playing and competing, I wouldn't be surprised to see those guys do really, really well. But I definitely think they suffered from not having as much experience as other teams.
For sure, yeah. Like they need more tournament time together. But again, I don't think they've been playing that much now either. I haven't
seen them.
Yeah, like I haven't been paying attention really closely to like the Mockets or the ESLs, but I don't think they've been playing. So either they're going through roster moves up, like you were saying, or they're just not playing again, which they're a team that like you need to be playing. Especially like the one thing I didn't like was when they did the interviews with A-Money and Crow, and A-Money's like, I hope we win one game. Like, you guys have to go in thinking like we can take 3 on Cosmic or 4 or 5. Because if you can win one game against these top teams, you can win all 5. Like, why not? Like, they need that mentality of like we can compete for a top 4 spot. And I think right now they're just like happy to be in group stage and on for the ride. Maybe they need that, like kick in the ass of like, hey, you could make top 4 and go to the LAN. So
yeah, it's gonna be. Like Onslaught getting that 5th spot, it's going to be huge. But to be honest, though, it's like I would not be surprised if like it would. I think there's a lot of teams in NA that could take out those bottom 4 teams. So, and now there's only 6 spots left. So
Gonna be tight.
like it's gonna be crazy. Like honestly, the longer that we play the game, the longer that people are competing and just playing matchmaking, the more likely it is that we'll see new players emerge on the scene.
And plus, I think the NA teams don't take it that seriously for the most part. I think the work ethic in Europe might be a little bit better, besides Flipside probably.
Well, if a Flying Dutchman, I got to talk to like Vogan. He helped us out a lot for like our casting with feedback, and he was telling me about the regimen that he was doing with Dogu and Jesse, and they would like analyze their replays a lot, like all the time.
Yeah,
and then on the flip side, like other teams don't.
Yeah, but like I think Europe has that mentality because it's been so competitive there for so long. In North America, I think they're just like a little bit lazy compared to those teams. I see a lot of players playing other games a lot of the time, and just like I don't know, I just don't think they have it in them. But we'll talk about that a little bit more later as well.
They're getting so rusty that we take them down. Like we could beat them in matchmaking. Like,
yeah, pretty much. Which is sad. Then we got probably more bubble teams. I would say Orbit because of the roster moves. Obviously, like who knows? Even if they're in qualifier 2 at this point with all the roster shuffle going on, I expect them to still compete for a spot. Like, but it could be hairy because they haven't looked that good. I think Onslaught and Mocket should make it again, but it's only best of 3, so anything could happen. And same with Genesis and Vex too. It's best of 3s. Just got to be careful. They should make it, but who knows? Like I think, there's 2 spots probably open in North America, as we said, and teams like Vision, Kindergarten, XYZ. There's a couple others down there that really want those spots. So we'll see. It should be exciting, and I am going to plan on doing like after probably next week and doing a lot of research on those like bubble-ish teams because those are the matches we'll probably cast hopefully when we get to see them, and that should be awesome because I want to see new faces.
Like XYZ, like there's like Vision, No Clue. Like there's going to be probably a good amount. Yeah. And I wonder if there's any players that weren't 15 that are 15 now.
They still can't compete. It was an April 1st deadline for that.
All right.
So they still can't compete in this. So if you turn 15, happy birthday, but
you're still
RLCS doesn't like you. So too bad. Bubble teams in Europe, for sure, like the bottom half is all pretty sketchy. Even Kapow now is pretty sketchy because of the roster moves.
Did they pick up anybody yet?
No, but we'll talk about them last, so then we can go right into the roster Armageddon. But like Team Solid, they were the surprise team that made it into groups, but there's a reason they were a surprise team because they're a little bit worse than the others. They are definitely going to be a bubble team, and Europe is way more competitive than North America, so there's going to be more teams fighting for those spots. I'm a little worried about them. They haven't been playing that well.
Squad has been looking super good.
Oh yeah, JJJ Squad's really good with Jazer. Who else is on there?
Yeah, it's like Jazer, Ryuk, and Krasik.
Okay, yeah.
And they've been doing well. So I would not be surprised to see them boot out some of these other teams.
Yeah, Precision C has looked really bad lately, but they did just beat Supersonic Avengers recently, so who knows? And then of course, like Supersonic Avengers is one of those bubble teams that should make it in, but they're known to lose sets at wrong times or to just random teams. Like they're one of the few teams that can beat the top teams, but then also lose to like the around 16 range in Europe. They're a really strange team. I think they're a very hot and cold team. So we'll see on that day if they're ready to play.
Yeah, Europe, and even like it's the same pretty much for both regions. It's like once you get into that lower part, it's going to be who plays better on that day, especially with the freaking best of 3, man.
Yeah. And then we'll go right into roster Armageddon with Kapow. The reason why they're looking so weak is because right after the third place game, where Turbopulsa actually rage quit before the end screen, he joins Makiryu, who beat them, and they kick off Mystic.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
I don't like. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to see that because like I loved Kapow as a unit. Like I thought.
They were the longest lasting.
And I really
team
like Turbo. I'm a big fan of Turbo too. But I can understand emotions too. And you never know like what the relationship is behind the scenes, like what things are said on voice communication. So, but I'm sad to see that happen the way it did.
Like the only thing I'm worried about with Makiryu, like obviously they look strong right now in their honeymoon phase, and but once they start losing, if they do. Pashy's always been known to like aggressively try and like kick people off his team if he doesn't think they perform. Then of course Turbo, they just lost to Makiryu and he rage quits before the game's even like technically over. And like, so I'm a little worried about the dynamic there once they start losing. Right now, of course, everything's, sunshine and rainbows because they've won everything recently. But if they start losing, do they start fighting internally? Because it seems like a lot of these players in Europe, especially, are a little bit more aggressive when they start losing to each other and start, making a little bit more moves or a little bit more toxic in general to like the community. I wouldn't call them toxic, but I would just say like internally they might be a little more like aggressive.
It's not for fun, right?
With exactly. With Europe, it's not
with Pashy too. Like Pashy and not so much Europe, I would say. Like as a whole, like I wouldn't paint with such a broad brush because like squads like Weedham Girls and Flipside, who has not like never had a roster change, right? But like with Maka and Pashy for that situation, like Pashy clearly plays to win. Like he does not fuck around. Like he plays to win 100%.
When he couldn't play
like
with
he will ruthlessly drop, it seems like anybody. He would drop his grandmother from the team if he had to.
He was saying when he picked up Mystic, he's like, I need to find a player that can beat Flipside. And they got 4-0 by Flipside, and there goes Mystic. So that's his main goal. Like, of course, his main goal is to be number one in Europe, and that's why he wants to beat Flipside. But if he doesn't get that, I feel like, there's going to be a lot of roster shuffle with Makiryu if they continue to fail, but they've been playing well lately, so who knows? We'll see. And then Kapow right now, no official third as of now, I think, which is kind of hurting them because they need to like find someone soon so they can start practicing because they have a good chance to make the land. They came in fourth. They just have to get another fourth, and they're in. So
you always wonder what's going to happen because it seems like, especially with all the crazy roster stuff, like anything could happen. Like Jazer just leaves JJJ to go join. Yeah. Like who knows what's going to happen, man?
Yeah, and then with the whole like EU's more like they want to win. Like, that is a good mentality to have, but I think there's some middle ground. Like, I think NA is too casual. And then Europe might be a little too aggressive on most teams, not all teams. I think there's somewhere in that middle where you want team camaraderie, but you still want to win. It just seems like both sides right now don't really have it. But, like, it's working for Europe. The cutthroat mentality is definitely working because they are the dominant region. And they don't mind just swapping players around. It just kind of sucks for the players in general.
Yeah.
You never know when your job is safe, and that's hard to play with.
And it's definitely less fun, but at the same time, that mentality will aid them in the LAN versus NA. Because like I'm guilty of it too. Like when I played on Double Tap, like I played with my friends. Like I was not interested in like trying to get on the best team possible. Like I found flow and Pancake just in matchmaking, and then like the whole like Digital and Espeon. Like I liked playing with those guys. Like Digital was kind of an asshole, but like Espeon I loved that guy. So like the whole like I was guilty of it too, like just playing. But at the same time, the best team in Europe right now has stuck through the same roster even through the difficult pieces. So
but at the same time, when they were going through difficult pieces, there was some sketchy moments there for a little while. But they know they're all really good, so I think that's why they stick together. I don't think they're necessarily like the bestest of friends. But hey, whatever. I mean, that's what you got to do. Like it is a job for these top teams, and you have to know that. It's just, it's hard when player security is so weak right now, as we see with these moves. When like these teams were heading to the LAN anyway, and they still drop people, which kind of sucks for like Mystic, and now onto J-Raw from Team Enix. Look at this transition.
Oh yeah, dude, your transitions are on point. It's like you are still in the studio. Like
it's like I'm still rotating. Like in game, I'm rotating. Here, I'm rotating. It's like the same thing. Transitions, rotations, same thing.
Dude,
we're good.
You're so
we're good to go. But yeah, J-Raw gets kicked from Enix. Now this one's got a lot of drama behind it, which we don't know all the drama.
Are you sure? I would even be like, I don't know if I would use the terminology kicked. Like J-Raw.
No, J-Raw said he was kicked.
He got kicked. Okay.
He said he was replaced. Like he was kicked.
To me, replaced. Even that, like I don't know what that what that could mean.
Yeah,
was he
like
kicked?
To be honest,
was it a
like
contract dispute?
No, because I think it was probably the other two players. Like, hey, we want Moses. See you later. I think that's what it was. I'm not sure the technicalities of his kickage, but he was definitely kicked. He said that he was like, no, I was replaced. I was kicked. Like, he has said it on Twitter. He said he might post a long Twitter post about what went on. And of course, I'm not saying like the bad guys are necessarily Turtle and Garrett, because who knows? We'll see both sides of the story at some point, maybe. And if we don't, oh well. You know, there's always inner workings with every team.
Story.
Yeah.
I want to know the story.
Exactly, because like you don't get to see the inner workings.
Like my boy on Vex. Like I loved watching him play because I felt like I had a lot of common with him being an older player. Like Garrett and Turtle, they're young guns. Like me, I was coming from I think J-Ra also played a lot of Counter-Strike, and like I played a lot of so I had a lot of similarities. I admired J-Ra for being able to play at that high level. So I'm kind of like irritated that he got kicked, even though I don't know the story at all. Like,
and then you would think after Moses has what happened to him on Kings, where he didn't even know that he was getting kicked, then to do the same thing to Genesis, supposedly Genesis did not know that Moses was leaving for Enix. So that's a whole nother problem. Like, so my main problem with this is like, I don't mind, like, if you want to make roster moves or whatever, try not to burn bridges when you do it, because that's not a good idea, because eventually you might want to team up with them again. Right? And like, it seems like players right now are getting it over pretty quick. Like, they're like, whatever, 2 weeks I'm mad, and then they're fine again. But just be careful that you're not burning too many bridges. And at the same time, when you're looking for sponsors, and if players are just moving in and out, sponsors do not like that. They want a team that is the same, because it's a pain in the ass to sign more players on contracts. So sponsors look for teams that stay the same generally.
And that was that's one of those things about J-Ra that is so valuable. Like, that guy knows how to handle his business.
Exactly. Yeah,
like,
he was the leader.
He knew how to handle his business, knew how to talk to the sponsors. He like knew how to help manage the team as well. So like he had that experience, and some of the younger kids, and I'm not saying this is true about Turtle and Garrett, but from my experience talking to some of the younger players, is they have no idea how to serve that management role on a team. Like, they either, one, they don't know, or two, they just don't care. And that, like, you're hurting yourself too. Like, a good team manager will be able to help elevate the team's fame. You know, like,
and at the same time, though, it could have been on J-Ra, like, he just really wanted to play forever, and like Turtle and Guy were like, well, we want to replace you, and then he's like, well, I'm not going to help you then, you know, stuff like that. So
yeah, like, we don't know the story.
Exactly, it could be anything.
We're only speculating.
Yeah, so. But like, either way, it just seems like it's a bad scene. Like, I don't like seeing drama between teams. I'd rather everyone, you know, be happy, go lucky. And
it's better stories when you have the same teams going at it over and over.
And plus, like, you finished third and fourth. Probably no real reason to switch. Like, Genesis, they were one game away from second. Like, and Vex was also one game and one shot away from being, like, in the finals. So it just seems, but at the same time, I guess maybe that's why both these players are making moves. They're like, well, we just barely didn't make it. So if we make one small improvement, maybe then we get there. And they want to, because qualifiers is really, really sketchy in the best of threes. So they want to make sure they make it to the LAN. I could see it, but again, Genesis getting screwed again. Pluto and Quinn without a third as of now. That I think supposedly rumors were like Covenel maybe, but I'm not really sure. But James, like you were saying, it's probably the best free agent spot available.
It is, yeah, it is the best free agent spot.
Well, that spot like and Kapow, like on both sides.
So like look for any player in the bottom in the 5 through 8, or even like 5 on a team that's ranked 5 or lower. Like, anybody could be the potential third, because Genesis, Pluto, or the veteran Gibbs player, like, he is, one of us might give up casting and go play.
I'm sorry. It's not going to happen.
But yeah, that is definitely the best spot out there for any free agent or even player on one of the lower teams to aspire to. Like, look for, I think, a high profile player to take that third spot.
Yeah, and like teams at this point though, when you're getting to the spot of like you might make it to the LAN, like you got to start showing that you're professional, because then sponsors will want to come to you. Like, sponsors want to see wins, but at the same time they want people that are easy to work with and that are not changing rosters all the time. So it's very important for players that are trying to be in that top four. Like, hey, if you want a good sponsor, like if you want Cloud9 to come into the scene, they want to see teams that stay the same. And we see some
stability, like personality.
Yeah. And at the same time, these roster moves don't help the scene at all really right now. Like I would see like after RLCS, then yeah, make all the roster moves you want. That makes a little more sense. It's weird to do it in the middle. But yeah,
and like
just be
and
professional
still
about it too.
it's still definitely like it is huge for us. Like the $75,000 prize pool and everything is like really big for us as Rocket League players because like we do this like a majority of people here in the scene are here because they love the game, and it's awesome that there's a big tournament. But like even $75,000 is pretty modest in terms of like all the esports stuff that's
Yeah.
out there. So like there will be a lot of orgs coming in as we're already seeing, but I like who knows how much the prize pool is going to be for the next one. It's definitely going to be an increase, but it's only going to be getting bigger. So like the teams need to be thinking for the future. Like
Yeah.
let us like even if we don't have a big sponsor now, like let's just handle our business, like stay consistent, not burn any bridges with
Yeah.
anybody in the community,
Be
and like
respectful on social media and like
yeah,
have
be
a
respectful
social
on
media.
social. Yeah,
Yeah.
have and stream.
Yeah,
Like
stream all the
stream
time.
once in a while. Like at least have the ability to stream if something happens and you get sponsored.
Yeah, like
But
when I was playing on Cosmic, when we lost to Kings of Urban in the overtime for our first loss or whatever, like we were super happy. We're like, this is really important for the Rocket League scene, and it was on like the biggest set that we could have done it because it was MLG and they were shoutcasting it. It's like anything that is good for Rocket League helps everyone. So you
Yeah.
want to try and not do too much bad press. Like, of course, like these are small in like the grand scheme of things, but I'm just saying, just in general, like I don't think these moves are necessarily like, oh my god, they're terrible for Rocket League. But just in general, just want to point out, like, hey guys, just try and be professional. Try and not burn bridges. Try not to bring up too much drama as well, which never really helps for teams. But I understand some players will because like they feel like they have to because that's the only way that their side of the story comes out. You know, stuff like that. But hopefully, you know, it smooths out a bit. Roster moves will always happen, especially in Rocket League, because it feels like teams can click pretty quickly in Rocket League. But like, I want to see when teams start getting more dedicated and like start playing together all the time.
yeah,
And we'll
higher
see if
levels
those
of-
roster
higher
moves.
levels of play.
Yeah, exactly. Right now, I think it's still happy-go-lucky for the most part. So once that starts happening, then you'll start seeing teams click more, and like the level of play will rise to where you just can't make a super team and just win everything. So we'll see. We'll see if that happens. I'm excited when it does, and yeah, let's go on to the next segment of EU is really good. That's all I gotta say.
I think that's about the gist of it. Is that Europe is gonna kick NA ass
Right now, yeah. Like the last time that like NA was looking really good was May 6th, Rocket Royale. Kings of Urban and Vex made it to the grand finals of Rocket Royale. First time ever that two North American teams have made it. Plus, that wasn't even with Cosmic like in this mix, which they forfeited, which we'll get to in a bit. But that was really big for North America because that's never happened. Plus, it happened with Vex at the time, was ranked 7th, but this is when they were surging up into the top 3. So, like, say it was number 2 and number 3 teams from North America beating probably number 2 and number 3 at the time in Europe was really important for North America. But then after that, it's just been a shit show.
Yep, I agree.
Like-
I don't really have much more to add to that. NA right now is clearly not competing at the same level as EU.
Yeah. And it's not even like it's one EU team. The last 3 Rocket Royals have been won by 3 different teams, and none of them are flipside tactics. Like, that's insane. Supersonic Avengers won May 13th. Weedham Girls won May 20th. And Maki EU won May 29th. And one thing to note, out of all 4 of these Rocket Royale finals, there's 2 teams from each region. Cosmic, who's probably arguably the number 1 team in North America, was not in any of these. So they had 1 loss to Vex, which was the May 13th one. So that's fine, whatever, you know, happens. But then they had 3 forfeits. So they played the group stage out, I think, for most of them, except for the last one. And then they just forfeit in like the knockout rounds.
Yeah,
And
and that's really kind of disappointing because like Cosmic and Kings are like the 2 most famous North American teams. They bring viewership to the community and they help expand the community. So it's really disheartening to see them not want to take part in Rocket Royale and to just forfeit all of those games.
But at the same time, like I see, like say you're busy that week, and be like, hey, we just won't play in this one. That's much better than, all right, we're gonna play, leave a spot open for us. People come to watch you, and then oh no, Cosmic's not playing today because they forfeited again. And it's been like that all month. Like if you're going to play in a tournament, play in the freaking tournament. It's the worst when we see forfeits from anyone, but especially teams like Cosmic, who's the most popular team in the entire game, I would say. You can't be forfeiting like this because, again, like this is bad press for all of Rocket League. And this hurts when like sponsors come in. They're like, oh, the best team, the most famous team, they don't even show up for these tournaments. Like, it just doesn't look good for like Rocket Royale and for smaller tournaments because like if they want to be built up and stuff like that, it just. And one thing I think they should do, so I'm kind of with RLC, like I help them a little bit here or there, but one thing I think needs to be done for Rocket Royale is it's like if the team forfeits, just boot them the next week. Like give them some type of penalty, like something needs to be done.
I agree.
Yeah, it's just, but at the same time, like I understand it's like, hey, it's Cosmic, we want them to come if they actually show up, but you have to have the same rules like across the board.
It's not new though that Cosmic players don't show up, right? Like
that's always been
the one time where I was getting ready to help with Rocket Royale, and you're like, "Hey, can you sub?" And I was like, "Sure." And that was after you had already moved into the management position.
Yeah, so I was
weren't even
supposed
supposed
to
play either. So.
Yeah, so it does happen a lot with them, and like, so this is what I was talking about, how like NA
manage the players, Gibbs. Twist their arm.
Well, they know times of tournaments. I'm not going to be like, that's just not what I'm doing right now with them, but whatever. That's beyond the whole point. It's just like that's like the North American mentality. Like, at least at the top with Cosmic, they seem a little bit lazier when it comes to tournament play. And like, say, like they're equals with Kings of Urban. The 3 times they forfeited, like Kings of Urban, they won one of the tournaments. They came in second and they came in third. That's $600 that Cosmic could have been in that spot or better possibly. And they just lose out on that money. And you would think some of these players probably need it. Crow probably doesn't need it. Like Gambit and Latch probably would like, some change. And it just seems like, I don't know. Like, I know there's life, but like this is kind of your job at this point. Should probably show up to more events or just say, hey, I'm not going to play in this Rocket Royale. Like, I'm busy this week. And that's fine too. Like, if you can't make the tournament, just don't make the whole tournament. Don't show up for the first round.
About it and give as much give as much notice as possible. And that goes to any team in Rocket Royale. Do not string along the tournament organizers. Like, if you're not going to make it or if you're not sure, just say that right away.
And then it's unfair.
I think there's more that we could do too as like tournament organizers to try to make it easier for players too. But I mean, Cloud and like everybody like has been doing a lot to try to make it easy. But I mean, we're gonna do everything we can to make the system better for the players, but the players also need to make sure that they're doing as much. And I guess like even Cosmic will get criticized the most because they're the team that everybody really loves to watch in North America. So when they don't show up, it's just like it sucks. It's like when the Blue Jays go to the World Series, right? No one cares.
Yeah, like it's like if it was like Yankees versus Blue Jays in the pennant, and then like the Yankees just don't show up.
Yeah,
and then people are like, no one wants to watch the Blue Jays in the World Series. Like, sure, like if you get beat, that's fine, but it's like if they just walk in, like that's the one thing that I'm not a big fan of is they play group stage out and then they forfeit the knockouts. So like that side of the bracket is so much easier because that's one less game someone has to play, and it's just unfair to the teams on the other side of the bracket. Like it's just it's not great. So hopefully they start showing up more. That would be nice. What else?
I definitely want to get to the article.
The what?
The article.
The article. Forbes. Oh, he wants to get to the article. We're gonna skip.
Do that. We can go.
Okay, we'll do PPL quick because it's pretty quick. So there's PPL Playoffs, also known as the Poo Poo League. A Pulsar Premier League. Playoffs happened. It was kind of a shit show the entire time.
A shit show the entire time.
The whole league was a shit show.
The beard under the bus.
I mean, he was busy, and that's understandable. And he didn't have enough minions like RLC does to keep running the ship. So and a lot of teams forfeited and disbanded. So it turned into a bit of a shit show. But the playoffs happened, and teams showed up for that. But somehow it was only Europe teams that actually played well again.
Surprise.
Just Europe. Like, zero effort. Beat Vex or Enix and Cosmic. When that's happening, guys, NA's in trouble. No offense to zero effort. Like, they're a solid team. But when they're like 7th, 8th at best in Europe, and they're beating the top team and the third team, NA's got some work to do before the LAN. They have 2 months, roughly. Who knows exactly what day it is. But you got some work to do, North America. And that includes teams that are playing, like Kings of Urban. Like, they're playing in everything. So good on them, but they're not winning that much against Europe either. So it's getting rough. Like, they lost to... who'd they lose to? They lost, I think, to Maki to you, which is a little bit understandable. But
I'm a Kings fanboy, especially after the Jacob.
The
Jacob foam finger thing
fingers were great.
was probably the greatest interview in the entire tournament. Like that was like, if you go back and watch that video, you could hear both of us bust out laughing when you did both the foam fingers. Like, so
man.
Kings.
Like, I'm gonna buy more of these.
I will never bash them after that interview from Jacob, unless Jacob leaves. And
like, I'm not trying to bash NA. Like, I just think like NA right now is just weaker, and they need to notice that. And like teams like Kings and Cosmic should be scrimming a lot, and like trying to help each other. But.
And traditionally, we've never been as good as EU. Like, even when the old Bracket Royales were going, we didn't win a single one. So
Europe's always been better. But then, like, there was a time where we thought maybe we could. Like, Pro League, it went to 2 Game 7s. And then May 6th, where we actually had 2 North American teams in the finals. And then it's just been terrible after that. But we'll see. I mean, like, there's plenty of time. Right now, it's the RLCS is another 4 weeks. It's only NA on NA and Europe on Europe. And then you'll probably have a month and a half, who knows, for the LAN. So there'll be plenty of time to practice, especially so I want to see those top 4 teams, if they take it seriously during those like first 2 weeks when they're off, and see if they actually get those scrims in, maybe scrim each other. Like, so I'm not sure how
Halo, we would always like get together and play another team like a LAN. Yeah. Unfortunately, there's not a LAN build for Rocket League yet, but I wouldn't be surprised to see teams just go ham. Like week before.
Plus, I hope they announce like the groups early enough so then teams know who they can scrim if they don't want to scrim like teams in their own group. That would be kind of nice, because then we could see like, all right, Cosmic and Kings are not in the same group. They'll scrim a lot. Cosmic and Weedham Girls are not in the same group. It'll
let us make a lot more predictions too, which will be good.
Exactly. Which is good to like build up hype and all that stuff. So we'll see with that. But PPL goes to Maki to you, who won like everything this weekend. They won Rocket Royale. They won
like every big tournament.
They won PPL. Like, they were on a tear with Turbo during this honeymoon phase. We'll see.
Pashy is pleased.
Yes, Pashy, the mastermind, putting together these teams. He is happy for now, but don't get on his bad side. He will kick you. He will throw you into the Shark Tank with laser beams on their heads.
Yeah, or it is Pashy cut his mom because she didn't make a good enough sandwich.
Like, I was thinking like cut like with a knife. No. So I was like, oh god. No, man. Yeah. So watch out.
It's like, I'm picking up a new mom. See you later. I'm looking for free agents on the mom market.
But hats off to him, man. Like, when like he knows what he wants, and he's a good enough player to get what he wants, and it's working right now. But we'll see with RLCS right around the corner. And go with your article now. All
right. So this is the big one that I wanted to talk about. There was this amazing Forbes article that Jeremy Dunham and Dave Hagewood were featured in on Forbes. So like so brace yourselves for some of these numbers, because they're like incredible. So for the number that we've been going on for the longest time, that how much Rocket League had made, was back in December, where they announced that they had 70 million in revenue. Yeah. I don't know if that's like gross or like net or what, but now they're at over $110 million, like almost doubling, which is crazy in half a year.
Especially because like the game's been out. Most games don't continue to grow. They are big for their first month, and then they dwindle.
And they said in the developer talk too, Gibbs, they said they spent $2 million officially on developing the game, and now they're at $110 million. Like, we might see a golden 70-foot statue of an Octane somewhere. That would be pretty cool. Of money.
See, what they should have done was Overwatch had those Tracer out in like Hollywood, where there would be like it was like 15 foot tall, like in a box. It was Tracer. That's what they need right before the RLCS LAN. I want to see some Octanes. I want to go ride on an Octane, or like Octane Ubers. Let's
Octane
do it.
Ubers. That's what I would
Let's
love
do
to
it.
see is like them spend like
Oh my
$100,000 making a rocket. Actually, no, I don't. I want them to use that towards developing the game. But I would
Yes.
love,
I
would
still
love
wanna
to
see an
see
Octane
maybe
Uber.
a fan make one and then bring it to an event where there's Rocket League.
Yeah,
I would
that'd
love
be
to.
great.
But that is just like the beginning. They sold over 5 million units of DLC at like, but they're doing it at like $2 or $3. So that's pretty awesome. They said over 15 million unique players have played Rocket League.
Yeah, and that includes like PlayStation Plus, of course, and the free weekend for PC. So
And
the number's
speaking
gonna be
of,
inflated a bit, but still good.
yeah, and like just along those lines, something that was a surprise to me after reading that is that a majority of the Rocket League player base is actually on PS4. It's like, and just the percentages here, it's 42% for PS4, 36 for Steam, and then 22 for Xbox, which is a surprise considering Xbox just recently came out.
Yeah, that's pretty big. And so that number, was it active players at the time, or was it just like
It's right
in
now.
total? Oh,
It's,
okay. All right.
it's the
So it's
players
active.
making up of the online
Okay.
community.
So
And
that I'm
and
surprised that PS4 is still up there.
well, and it's not as much of a surprise because, like you said, the PlayStation Plus thing, like they were like huge, like they were the
Yeah.
biggest one by a trillion. Steam is catching up in the percentage wise because even a lot of the players from PlayStation 4 are like moving over to PC because it's a better experience. Like you can deck out your PC, get super high frame rates, no input lag. It's
And
amazing.
training tools now.
Yep, training tools. So a lot of people are moving to computer, and so Steam is catching up. But it's awesome to see all of the like all of the platforms so involved. Like those are
Yeah.
significant numbers on every platform.
And now, like we didn't even talk about, but like Xbox crossplay now with PC, which is great because Xbox playlists were dwindling. So that's like another surge for Xbox. Maybe more Xbox players will come in now because they know, hey, like the playlists are populated again. That would help.
And they said that 5 months in a row of increasing player base,
That's
which is
crazy.
crazy because normally a game will come out and it'll be super big and then it slowly shrinks. Rocket League has been growing for 5 months straight.
Yeah, which is insane because like that's still like the game came out 11 months ago, so that was 6 months, and then like they have their 5 month like boost. Like that's really hard to do for any game. Like Metal Gear Solid 5 right now is on sale for like $12, and that came out last year. So it's like I don't know, it's crazy.
And this is this is like the retail release is coming, like the physical video game of Rocket League is coming out this summer. So like when that comes out, the amount of time, like Pashy's grandma will probably, and to get back in his good graces, she'll buy this Rocket League game because it looks cute.
Maybe
like,
she'll
who
be the
knows
new
how
third.
many new players?
Maybe.
Who knows how many new players will come onto the scene because of that physical copy that people like parents and stuff will buy as stocking stuffers and stuff.
Yep.
So like looking for, like they've done such a good job at giving us good tidbits, like good additions to the game that keep the player base growing. Like they're doing a phenomenal job with that.
For sure. Like that's a big deal is just having it on retail stores because a lot of moms and grandmas are just going to go out and be like, oh, like this looks interesting. Maybe my son, especially younger kids, because it's an E for everyone game. It has cars on it. There's a ball. Like right there screams like 5-year-old kid to just play around with and have fun. So like we'll see a lot of purchases that way. Like, of course, like that's not going to increase competitive play, but that's fine. Like not everything has to increase.
It's just about
play.
creating the future of the
Yeah,
game,
exactly.
right? Like the future of the game is going to be pretty much guaranteed. Like
Yeah.
this move, it's like as a Rocket League fan, I am just waiting in suspense. Like I cannot wait to see what happens with all this stuff. And they were saying that with all of the development that they're working on right now, it's almost like a new game is coming out again. So, and they've been teasing, even in this article, they tease out about a huge content release that's coming up. And then in addition to that huge content release, there are other secret announcements. So like I don't know what that could be because I already feel like Rocket League is like perfect. So I just am giddy like a schoolgirl. The thing is, and we're going to talk about the update after this. So like a good lens to look at this through is that Dave said that Psyonix is treating this game like a free to play game. So what does that mean when he says that? They're treating it, they're not like we launched this game, let's just sell it now. They're continuing to develop this. They're looking at this as a live product that they will continue to develop these features for as if it is a free to play title, which is super awesome.
Yeah, like it's very Blizzard like with like Overwatch that just came out. You know that they're going to support that for years to come, and like players love that. They want to see developers like supporting games over and over, and players will hang around for a while. Plus, with Rocket League, of course, they'll have minor DLCs, maybe a Steam Marketplace at some point. So that's where they're going to get the money back for continued support. And, like, that's what we want, obviously. We love Rocket League, so we want to see it continue to grow, and that's how it grows. More support means more headlines in the news, means more people see it. They're like, God, this is like the 20th time I've seen Rocket League on Polygon or on GameSpot. It's like, I guess I should pick it up. So it's super exciting, and it's just insane that players are still increasing like 11 months since the game came out. That's awesome.
The game is still going up, which is crazy because like I was just online playing unranked before this. I was playing hoops. And there were over 100,000 people online. So it's insane.
Yeah.
And another cool tidbit that was in there, and I encourage everybody to read the Forbes article, but they said that Psyonix, like they publicly stated that Psyonix will only sell cosmetic items they'll only sell cosmetic items or vehicles for real money. They will not charge us for any map content.
Yeah.
Which is so awesome.
Which they've been saying like since the start, but it's just great to just hear them like, yeah, we still mean it, like even though the game's blown up, and we could probably get some money
cannot
from
go
that.
back on it now.
Yeah,
They've
exactly.
said it too much.
Yeah. But that's just like video games in general right now. It seems like a lot of games are starting to do that. They'll have like minor like microtransactions, like Halo did that, and now Overwatch is doing that. There's minor transactions for cosmetics, and they give the actual content to everyone, which is awesome because I don't really care about cosmetic items at all. Like I'll still buy like every DLC for Rocket League because I'm trying to support them, but games like Overwatch, I don't plan on buying loot boxes, but I know there's plenty of morons out there. No, I'm just joking. Not morons, but...
Right? No, it's like Hearthstone. Same thing. It's like I played a ton of Hearthstone, and I still will play it, but I don't buy packs.
Yeah.
Like I just play it for fun.
But that's what keeps like the game growing, and it keeps more free content comes out because of these whales that want to buy tons and tons of cosmetics. And I'm like, go for it. Feel free. Like I hear people say, "Oh,
like Kyle Mask." Kyle said he spent like $2,100 on League of Legends,
really?
like buying all the
That's
skins
crazy.
and stuff.
Yeah, like, I spent like $20.
Yeah, I have not bought a skin yet. I save up my my points or whatever and use those.
And it's just like, so like I don't care like if people are like, "Oh yeah, I spent like 2,000." Like, good for you. That means we get the free content. Like everyone gets it, and that's because you're spending $2,000 on the game. Which, hey, like I'm fine with. Like, go for it. And then anything else you want to bring up from the article?
I guess the last thing I want to finish off was a stat that I didn't hear that was actually pretty cool. So they talked a little bit about the esports scene and how RLCS is a way of giving back to the community, like putting prize pools back. They earned a lot of money. They want to help build the competitive scene, make it viable for pros in the game, which is really awesome. But they said that over 300,000 people watched the first show. So I don't know what that like refers to, but that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, just like probably
watched the
a
first
unique
300,000 people saw your beautiful mug, Gibbs.
Oh, yeah.
How does that make you feel?
Probably not, because I'm not on the screen that often. More of the time there's cars on the screen. But, that's still really good that 300,000 at least, like stop by and to see what it is. And like that's what you want, just new viewers coming in. And Rocket League's like that type of esport where it's very, very easy to follow. So I can see a lot more casual players or audience wanted to watch this. Like it's harder to watch like League or Dota, but Rocket League is very simple. Like everyone knows, put the ball in the goal. Oh, it's a 0-second goal. Like everyone knows what that means. Like buzzer beaters.
That's gonna be crazy.
So it should continue to grow. Like during the online finals, we had 22.5K for North America, which was insane. So, and that was up from like the first weekend we had like 14K. So like it is growing from week in to week out. So we just got to make sure that we keep making the show better and better, which we plan to do, and just making it easier for people.
Are we going to be doing like strip teases on this show, or is that?
Well, we already talked about no pants, so
right,
maybe no shirts.
All right,
time?
yeah, we'll see. We'll see if we can take it to the next level.
We'll see. Just get on that Patreon tier and we can. All right, moving on. June update. So I made a video just like 2 days ago about like what we already knew, but we'll go over quickly because we haven't had a DFH in a while. New quick chat commands, which is awesome. There's like 25 to 30 new quick chat commands, and
is easy on there?
I don't think easy is on there.
Easy would be too. I think that would be too incendiary.
Yeah, exactly. Easy. Well, so they have Savage on there, but I don't know like how that's gonna work. I don't know. Like,
who knows that those might not be final, right?
No, those are final. I think.
Okay, they are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like they'll probably add more like every update, I would assume. But for now, like we have a certain amount of commands in there. And that's awesome because like it's better because they have like great clear on there, and like that's a great one because what are you supposed to say? Nice shot on a clear? Like I don't know. So like things like that will help just make people like use more commands basically and make it a little bit more exciting, I guess. The only problem is then the meme dies a bit of like, wow, nice shot, nice shot. You know what a
Yeah,
save.
right.
Like that kind of dies.
It'll be
a bit,
more. It'll
but
be
that's fine.
yeah.
I mean, it wasn't that
It'll
great
be
of a meme
more.
anyway.
What is the word I'm looking for? Convoluted.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's gonna be. It's not gonna be as iconic. Those quick
Exactly, and
chats.
people are not going to know like why do you keep saying savage? I didn't even know that
Yeah.
that was a command. So yeah.
Nice shot. Wow. All the ones that are original will probably continue to be the most popular references.
Yeah.
And then the more cheeky people in the sub comments will start breaking out the savage.
Yeah, exactly. Then they're adding post game a quick chat as well, which is nice. So 4 commands there, which will be nice when you don't want to type on your keyboard GG because you're laying back on the couch or whatever with a controller. So that'll be nice. And then post game spotlight. Now you'll be able to dance when you win. I'm just gonna be turtle dancing all the time. Like if they take away a air roll, I'll be very upset because I didn't see anyone do an air roll at all.
Yeah,
in their
air roll
GIF.
will be great for you doing 360 flips in your car.
Yeah, like I just want a turtle and that's it, and just spin. That's all I want to do. But then also there's a lot more titles that go along with it. Like in SARP, they had a lot of different ones, like demolition expert, stuff like that. Just who had the most demos in the game, like the most clears and stuff like that. Which means they're going to be following more of those stats. Which means maybe we get a bigger scoreboard, like multiple pages, because that's what SARP had, where you could actually see like ball touches, clears, and stuff like that.
Ball touches, that's gonna be tracked.
Yeah.
Are they gonna
Yeah.
track that outside of never mind. We'll just stop. We'll leave it there. Okay, ball touches.
Ball
Got it.
touches, all about those ball
Multiple
touches.
page multiple page scoreboard. I don't even know if I have an appetite for that. I would like it if they tracked it, but I don't know if I'd care to see it on the scoreboard. But
Well, like it would be like optional, you know, like why not? Like if you're
Okay.
tracking it, why not?
if
Like,
it's optional, I'm cool.
because I mean, like you would have to hit like RB to change page or something. So just don't change the page. Like if you still want to see goals, assists, save shots. But like I love looking at those stats if you're just waiting for the next game. So you know, it's always nice. I like stats.
Stats are fun.
And plus, it's good because if they do track them, then that means if we ever get like an API, then that's more stuff that we can talk about on the cast for tournament play, stuff like that. So
Or live stuff, right?
Yeah.
Being able to analyze the actual stats from like look to see who's leading the clears.
exactly, yeah. So that'd be really nice.
Like that.
Next thing, there's another new map, Pillars. We're turning into a MOBA, guys. It was gonna happen one day.
I play top lane. There is no top. Well, I guess that means I only play
To the
in
left, I
top.
guess?
Yeah, top left.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
spin to win.
Damn MOBA. Like we'll see how the map plays. Like I like that they're trying new and diverse things. I'm not sure how well this map will work. Who knows? Maybe it'll
Yeah,
work
the
really well.
purpose. It seems like the purpose of the labs map is to experiment, and this
Yeah,
is by
which is
far
good.
the most dramatic experiment that they've run. So it'll be cool to just see. Like, it's awesome that they are willing to just put things out there that are drastically different to just
Yeah.
see what happens, see what the feedback is. So it's cool. That map, I have no idea how that's going to play at a high level, or if people are going to hate it, or if people are going to love it,
Yeah, like
or
it's
if
hard to
going to
tell the
play well with
size,
certain
too.
crowds
Yeah.
and worse with others.
I assume it's gonna be a huge map because for the 3 lanes to have enough space to do passes and stuff. Because it's gonna turn into like we're down 1 lane if all 3 are on defense at that point. You can't pass through the lanes. You have to go around them. So
It might be a lot harder to get a ball out of your zone.
that's
Like,
true. Well,
But we'll
choose the open
just
lane,
have
I
to wait and
guess.
see. Like, I'm eager to play it with a bunch of people.
yeah, like I'm happy because I want to see weird maps, and I'm glad for that.
You
So,
like the weird maps. I'm
Hell
not so
yeah.
crazy about them, but
yeah. Like I'm a little I'm not too excited about Pillars, but I still like it. Like I want to see more maps. So we'll see. Then season 2 rewards. Everyone gets boosts, either white, gold, blue, or purple, depending if you're champion, rising star, I think it was, or superstar, something like that. Challenger or prospect. But the good thing is you actually get all the boosts if you're higher up on that list. So if you're champion,
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
Phew.
then you get all 4, which is nice.
Are they going to give us all the crowns too?
No, I don't think so.
Because I want that silver crown.
I
man.
know, right? Like I wanted all the crowns, but not gonna happen. Then if you're grand champion, you also get the title. The big thing here is though, if you were grand champion at any point during the season, then you get the grand champion.
Oh, you do?
reward. Yeah, like even if you're prospect now, you still get it
You get the title if you were ever grand champion.
in season 2. Yeah.
Oh,
So
I didn't know that.
yeah, so you don't have to worry about your rank if you're like right on the cusp of challenger to prospect. Feel free to play.
So what
You'll
you're
still
saying
get the
is for
challenge.
the good of everyone else, we should tank our ratings to give room for more people to get their titles.
But then it's less rare for us, man. Less
It's
rare.
less rare.
Less rare.
Because when I go to sell my account, I need that
Exactly,
$25.
man. You know, I need it. Like I need that extra $2, man. Come on.
I wish if there's anybody that has rare Pepe emotes, I would love to see that, but another time.
And then also ranked reset, which is what everyone's been clamoring for because it hasn't been reset at all since the preseason. So they're going to reset it, and then they're going to see how rank is going, and they're going to watch it closely, and then make future changes. Of course, I would have loved future changes right away, but at least it's something. And
see,
go ahead.
Sorry to cut you off, but I just like get very nervous about this one. I wish that they wouldn't so much do an entire ranked reset, but at least break it up into some groups where they normalize the MMRs. Like, I don't know if it's necessary to completely wipe everything, but because I mean, that's going to lead to some pretty horrible experiences for people.
Yeah, for like the first week, like if you're one of the lower levels, you're probably better off just not playing ranked for the first week, and then you'd probably be fine. But it will lead to some of that. Hopefully, behind the scenes, that they're not telling us, maybe MMR is more flexible during placement games. That would be nice because it's a grind to get up there, even if you win all 10, like you still only get like challenger. So we'll see. Because like on Xbox, it took forever to rank up when the game first came out. Like forever. And I feel like that might happen again.
I'm a champion now, though. It took time, but I'm champion.
Forever. So I hope they are more flexible on their MMR, at least at the start, to get people into their right brackets quicker. But they didn't say anything about that. So that's what I'm worried about there.
I wanted to give a shout out too for the Xbox players that I was playing with is Fickle Platypus, Glory, and Coffee. And then even some guys that have been hanging out too, like AJ and Big Josher, which I think are subsidiaries. But
always
shout out to those guys for playing Xbox
out,
all the
selling
time.
Out.
So, that's not a shout.
Shout
You're
out.
getting your words mixed up. Damn
it's
it.
the same thing.
All right.
And talking about Pashy's grandma, like, come on now.
Oh god. All right. Move on.
All right, we'll move on. So the next one, the newest news for the patch is the painted items. So they're gonna have some fun names like Titanium White and whatever the other one was from Bob Ross memes. I don't know. I don't follow these memes too closely. So painted items for pretty much like I'm not sure if it's all items that they haven't said. But for specific items, at least, we'll have different colors, and you just collect them like you normally would. Like if you were getting like an uncommon drop, you would just get blue cone or something, like instead. So we'll see how that goes. Like, more items is always good. More collecting is always fun, I guess. Why not? Since we have all the items anyway.
Well, thinking about like the one thing I wanted to do is like let's think about all of these releases in terms of what they said in the Forbes article. He said Psyonix is treating the game like a free-to-play title. And like when I see all these items too, like trying to think about what they're positioning for down the road, it's like if they have like different color items and also like the stat track ones essentially that they were talking about, it's like, are they setting up to move, like have a marketplace in game?
So what I'm thinking is like, I don't think any games outside of Valve have a marketplace. I'm not positive of that. Someone could correct me, but I think it's like CSGO, that's obviously Valve, and Dota. And I think those are the two big ones. I don't think many other games have it.
League of Legends, right?
Well, but League has their own thing. Like
and then Diablo had one.
But again, that's on Blizzard's thing. It's not on Steam. So
I think they could incorporate the Steam marketplace into this game. Like it is a Steam game. So like I think they can incorporate into the marketplace. But
I think like because they're not Valve, like so far no other game has done this. But like I'm not saying Rocket League can't, because Rocket League's also tried to get crossplay across Xbox and PS4 and all that stuff, and like has been a trendsetter like in a lot of ways. But Steam Marketplace I think would be the best option. Like I think if they started selling the items separately, that would be a bad idea on their own. But if they did it through a marketplace, then they get like 10% cut of everything, which really helps.
And also promotes trading.
Yes.
And then by obviously the gambling, right? Like if they have they have gambling on the RLCS matches, then we'll have 300,000 viewers.
Exactly.
That seems to be driving a lot of the Counter-Strike viewership, which is a good and a bad thing. And I don't know if it's something Psyonix would necessarily want to support or like allow.
Yeah.
But I am personally curious if they are going to have a marketplace, and I kind of hope so.
Yeah, like, I really hope they do. I just don't know if that's possible because like no other game has done it.
Anything is possible.
Yeah, exactly. Like, of course we all want it, but
we went to the moon, Gibbs. If we went to the moon, then we can make a Rocket League marketplace happen.
Okay. Did Dave Hagewood go to the moon?
No, but I'm sure if someone asked him, he could figure it out.
He probably could right now. With all the money he has, he probably could, right?
He's
with 110 million.
Just straight up, all the way.
But of course, like we have duplicate items, so you would think at least a crafting system will come into play because they did play around with that in the Rocket League Alpha. So you would think maybe you can decraft and then you can buy like a chest with your crafting items and get a random item out of it or whatever, or like a white item, stuff like that. So I could see that. I really want the Steam Marketplace because that means Rocket League will be able to sell or make more money, which is always good because they'll throw it back into the game. But I just don't know if any game's done that before.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
We'll certainly hear in the comment section how we're wrong about that or right.
And then, of course, like you said, like specialized items. Now, certain items are going to have a certain thing to try and get. Like one of them, I think, was like long goals. And it was a hat, and it'll be like special hard hat, we'll say. That if you get long goals, then you turn into like sniper hard hat or super sniper hard hat, and so on and so on. So you level up your item based on the stat that it is tracking.
Or if you're a lawler, it would be like 14 boost own goal hard hat.
14 boost, go! Oh, man. But that should be fun. I'm a little worried about people just going into unranked and trying to boost it.
Yeah.
So that's the only problem. Hopefully unranked doesn't turn into that. Like people get mad because you steal their long goal because you want to make sure it goes in.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I'm worried about there. Specialized items. I'm not a huge fan. Like I don't care what my item title is. One that doesn't show anywhere right now, which means they'll probably have some way to display it. Because if it's just in the name, which is what it seemed like they said during the a press release, that means somehow you're gonna have to see a loadout from someone else's car, because otherwise no one would see it. Unless it'll actually change colors as it goes too.
Well, considering they said in the Forbes article that it is like we're delivering a new game all over again.
That's true.
I think we're in for a lot of surprises that we couldn't even comprehend.
Yeah, like with this massive, because like they said, massive June update. So there's going to be some things in there that are probably going to change a lot.
Massive content drop, plus secret stuff no one knows about.
Yeah, like I could see like either multiple loadouts, like or they change that entire system. Because now you might be able to view your friends' loadouts or whatever and stuff like that, like your car.
See how many ball touches your friends have.
Exactly, and fine ball touches, sloppy ball touches, whatever.
Finesse. I want to know how many finesse ball touches.
Finesse. But yeah, it's really exciting time right now, and that's gonna be coming out later in June. I expect it to come out before the game comes out on stores, which is June 24th in Europe. So I would expect the patch to come out before that because they would want to.
You think it's gonna be in June?
They said late June.
This is June. So
yeah.
They'll probably do it right before the big online final then.
I guess, yeah, you would think. And then
we'll
be away and we won't be able to play. We'll be very sad.
No, are you kidding? I'm bringing my mobile gaming rig.
There you go. Let's do it.
We'll set it up, and instead of watching the matches, we'll just play Rocket League.
There you go.
You're like, yeah, what a match!
We'll sub in, for those teams that have to forfeit because they only have 3 players. And we'll just call our name something else. It won't matter.
Easy.
Especially like if we're on the desk, no one knows. No one knows what we're doing during the games. So we can do it.
Yeah, nobody knows.
We'll make it work. We'll make touches. It work. Exactly. All right, let's move on. Like this has been a pretty long episode. Let's go into Q&A real quick. We got some questions from Twitter yesterday, from a bunch of people. So James, want to take it away?
Sure. The first one comes from Briskana. He says, Gibbs and Jamespot, is there any chance of an out-of-nowhere team in the RLCS? Anyone that might surprise us?
So it depends what you mean by out of nowhere. Like, I expect if he means out of nowhere, that's like out of top 16. That's probably not going to happen. Like, Team Solid was like that miracle team, and they were still top 16. I don't really see anyone doing that unless it's like a team that gets formed that's brand new but has talented players, so we would know that they might do well anyway.
Yeah.
It's like right now the talent is really, really good at the top, and it's hard to break into it, especially because it's like a new genre too. Like Rocket League is still new. Like it's not like another first-person shooter where a team of pros from CS:GO could go over to like Overwatch and still do really well.
Yeah, this is a game that you have to just put in the hours. Like there's no one that can just pick up and be godly like in Overwatch. It's like, oh, I was a sick TF2 typer or a TF2 sniper. Let me just get on here and wreck faces over as Widowmaker, which is something that I do personally. But like with Rocket League, it's not as easy as just pick up and play. It's a brand new genre, so it's just going to take massive time.
Yeah. Next question, CJ Link. He would love to hear a plus minus of labs maps making it to ranked and future RLCS. So I think
I don't want a labs map in ranked. I want the finished version after it's been in labs to be in ranked.
That's true, yeah. Which is what I think we might get like in the June update, which we didn't say. Like one of those surprises could be like 3 of these Rocket Labs maps are finished and now here they are in ranked. It could happen, who knows. Like I expect at least 1 to come out in the June update. Because
we'll see.
Like they've been out a while.
They have been out a while, so like I wouldn't be surprised to see that a part of it. But like I don't know if I really like some of those lab maps. So
I don't mind any of them. Like I think they're fine. Like so what map do you not like?
Like when I think about having my rank be on the line and playing it, like I don't know if I want to play it.
Well, that's true, but I think Psyonix is
Cosmic currently I don't like it. Like currently I do not like the Cosmic one. The Retropia is another one where I don't know if I like it too much.
I like Retropia. Like I don't mind that map. Cosmic though I think needs bigger goals to make it more competitive right now. Right now it's a little too defensive, and we've talked about this before on casts and all this other stuff. But the net is actually smaller than all the other nets, and it has that backstab.
Yeah. They need to like in Counter-Strike, you can, if you just want to play Dust 2, you can only play Dust 2. Like you can say, I only want to play Dust 2, and you'll only play Dust 2. Now, like I want to have that control in Rocket League. I don't want to be forced to play a map that I don't want to play. Like I understand that yes, it would be good for me as a player, but right now, I want to have control over that. If I only want to play one map, I only want to play one map. But
I understand that. But like I think that's unreasonable for Rocket League because of the size. Like CS:GO has so many more players, so you can do, hey, I just want to play Dust 2. But like I think like a compromise could be a map voting system where you get one standard, one random, like a variation map, and then have the teams decide. Then you would still have some control. Like of course you would have to play on the variations here or there. But it just depends where Psyonix wants to bring it. Like they can't do both. Like they can't have like a ranked and it be it all just on the standard. Or at least
maybe have like a standard map playlist. That might make me happy.
Yeah, but then like where do they go competitively? Like they have to make a decision. Like it's up to them. Like I don't care. Like if they want to stay in the
Halo, they had an MLG playlist.
Exactly.
So we just have an MLG.
Yeah,
or
like
RLCS playlist.
Yeah, but then like I would think they would bring in the new maps because like they want Wasteland in there, so that means they want other maps in there because no one likes Wasteland anyway. So any other map would be better than Wasteland right now. So
yeah,
to most people,
I'm gonna fight you on that.
But yeah, so it seems like that's where they want to head, and if they're gonna head there, then they just gotta go for it at some point. Yeah, like there's gonna be fans like you that are like, no, fuck this, I want to just play standard, and maybe they bring out like a ranked playlist that way. But I think they need to have like most of competitive like. Go in one direction. Don't let people choose too much because like that's just confusing, and it has to be one way or the other. All right, next question from Kenny Robinson: is there any card that you'd love to see added to the game? I didn't really know like any other cards that, like personally, I'm gonna use Octane, and that's just how it's gonna be for the most part. Like I'll play around with the other cards, but I won't probably pick them. So there's 4 new cars coming in the retail release, which I haven't said. One we expect to be Aftershock, which I think is the last car from the first game that hasn't made it in some variation. So you expect Aftershock to be there. But do you have any cars from like real life or anything that you would want in there?
Real life that I would want in here. Maybe the Herbie, the Beetle. That would
Okay.
be pretty cool. But other than that, no, I can't think of anything.
Yeah, and they'll just come up with some, I guess, and it'll be fun. Whatever. I don't care too much about the cars, so we'll see. Gregan, he also asked about the Rock Lab maps of like what you would like to see skinned and put into the rotation. As of now, the only one I like Double Goal, actually. I don't like Underpass. It's too big, I think, and there's too much wasted time. It is a good map. Like I like how it's diverse. I think they need to shrink it down in the corners or something to make it a little bit more playable.
Currently, it's too big.
Yeah, and I'm not a huge fan of super tall ceilings. I don't think that adds anything to the game.
If you have no boost, you have to wait so long.
Yeah, so maybe if they brought the corners in, but still, that map will probably get skinned pretty quickly because I think a lot of people do like it. But yeah, Retropia, I would like that too once it's polished. Right now, that one's a little rough. Yeah, any of them. I honestly don't mind any of them.
Yeah, I like Double Goal. I actually really like Double Goal.
Yeah, Double Goal's the most normal-ish, which is good, I think.
So yeah, Double Goal would be fine with me.
I would think the corners are a little weird on Double Goal, but I think they have to be so there's not as many goals scored off those corners. But that's fine. Derek Rollins, DM Rollins, our stat guy for RLCS. Are there too many tournaments in Rocket League? What is the right number of events? There's never too many tournaments in Rocket League.
Totally agree.
No, pros don't have to play in all of them, which is good because then other people get to play in them. More money, in Rocket League, is good.
More accessible, it allows more teams to win tournaments. It allows you to build up a bigger resume as a team to go to sponsors with. I don't think there could ever be too many Rocket League tournaments unless there's so many tournaments that people just don't play. And it makes someone sad.
Which happens
even
now.
Then,
a lot of
I'm
people
totally
host
fine with
tournaments. That. Yeah, why not? Yeah, if you want to host a tournament, go for it. Most players won't show up, but even if you get a group of 30 players, if you guys have fun, if the skill levels is correct, and players will play in that, be wow, that was really fun. Maybe I should practice more and then play in the bigger tournaments and stuff like that. I want all tournaments 24/7. I want a Rocket League tournament stream that everyone shares and tournaments all day. James Spot will just cast for 24 hours a day.
Yep.
Over there.
I'll just record. Yeah, why not? I'll just do
it. Or just record yourself and just repeat the same hour. Because your cast is kind of shit anyway. No one's going to notice.
Yeah, no one didn't even notice. They'd be like, wow, this guy's as horrible as he was 6 hours ago.
Yeah, it'd be like, wow, his analysis is exactly the same from an hour ago. Still kind of works.
I could just do wow, their rotations are really
on. Yeah, exactly. Rotations are great.
Oh, they really need to capitalize on their opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. Just the same thing over and over. Oh, man, that'd be great. You want to take the next one?
Yes, from Softgoat, another RLC dude. He says, competitive viability of Pillars map. Splitting the map into 3 lanes. Will it slow down the game too much?
Yeah, I think we just don't know yet. I don't like to speculate too hard on the maps, but I could see clears might be easier because if you can put the ball in an open lane, it takes longer for the offensive team to get there, which might mean one person will sit back behind the pillars so then they can get to that open lane and then clear it back in. Maybe, I don't know. So maybe then it would just be a 2 offensive style game, but
yeah.
It seems
I honestly have no idea.
Yeah,
it's such a weird map.
Yeah, it's really weird. But the side lanes, if you go down those, then the other team has plenty of time to get back, probably. So who knows?
We'll
see.
It's gonna be weird.
Fickle.
If you're out of position, it's gonna be so hard to get back to net. So people will probably not extend as much.
But at the same time, if they don't kick the middle lane, then you might have enough time to get back because then you can just drive down the middle lane. Who knows? I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited to play it. Fickle Platypus, who you were just talking about, do you think all the teams from Group 1 will make it back to Group 6? We actually covered this. I should have probably deleted this, but we talked about our bubble teams earlier. I think...
Maybe not. I think no. I think there will be a surprise, at least one in each region.
For sure. I would say maybe 2 in Europe. 2 at most in NA. I could see Europe flipping more of the teams. But I think at least 2 in Europe, probably, if Supersonic Avengers makes it. Because they're, they should, but who knows. And the last question, Charles Johnston, what would you want the next season rewards boost to sound like? So I assume he means the ones coming up. So I actually want, Pokemon for it to just say its name. prospect, the entire time.
God,
As you
that
go
would be the most annoying boost.
Challenger. Champion.
This is a good question. Champion. The new boost. What?
Well, you have a tool in your hand, which could be the sound. There you go.
Yeah, kazoo boost.
The whole
obviously.
time.
No, I want a pigeon sounding boost where it goes.
See, what I want is just the Batmobile sound to be on all those boosts so everyone can keep bitching. That's what I want.
No, please, no. Gibbs, stop it.
Like, I actually don't mind any boost sound. Like, I don't know why. They seem, they're not too loud to me for some reason.
The bubble boost is really annoying. I don't like that one. The sacred boost is really obnoxious.
Oh, I love sacred boost. Like, that was the boost I used to always use. Yeah.
No. There's a lot of boosts where that sounds bother me. Yeah. But I'm picky and easily annoyed.
Rise and star. Rise.
Oh God, just stop. No.
I'm telling you, that's what it should be.
Over Batmobile.
At times, feel free to sound clip that and take him out, throw him in the game. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, somebody mock it up. Somebody please mock it out. Grand Champion.
Oh man, but those titles for Grand Champion are kind of neat, but at the same time, like everyone's gonna. I
will not use that over my ESL.
Yeah, exactly.
And I will not use. Why do we not have RLCS caster titles? Who do we have to email about this?
Cloud. You have to email someone for us.
I'll email Cloud then.
Yeah, email Cloud. He'll talk to Golden Boy.
Art and Dirk.
He'll talk to Art. Talk to Dirk.
One of them will figure it out.
We'll just talk to Dave. Hell, we'll talk to Dunham. I haven't seen him in a while. We'll talk to him. Do it up.
Yeah, just write to Jeremy.
Any last notes, James, before we exit the show?
I guess the one last note is like big news for all of the RLCS casters, including myself. You were the only one who didn't benefit from it, but we all got partnered on Twitch. So
go check out their streams, guys.
So guys, please do that. Check us out. We're all trying to stream. Findable Carpet's actually been kicking ass, and he has like 60 freaking subs and a bunch of great emotes. But that was really awesome for us. None of us were really big streamers beforehand, so it's just been cool getting to interact with the community and being able to do stuff like that. So guys, please show every one of us love in that respect.
Oh yeah, man, check out their streams. Like James is streaming a lot. I've seen Carpet streaming a lot. I've seen Lawler streaming a lot. I haven't seen a bunch from Leaf or Wave too much yet.
Yeah, Wave was getting started today. I haven't seen Leaf too much, but I know Leaf is super busy because he runs that esport bar.
Yeah, and just like tons of Smash tournaments and stuff.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely go check them out, guys. They're good guys. And I'll be playing with them a lot more. Like last night, it was me, James, and Carpet running.
Oh, there's Snasky. All right, never mind. Sorry, that was a chat interaction I shouldn't have done.
No chat interactions until the post show.
Sorry, man. Got
it. If you're not watching live, we do this on Twitch every week. When we decide that week is when we're going to do the show. We're going to try and get back to a weekly show. Sorry, it's been crazy.
It's been nuts for us, right?
Yeah.
We're going to be able to focus more and more on this stuff.
Yes. So a quick bit of news. My last day of work is in 2 weeks from today. So then I will be streaming a ton more and doing a ton more YouTube content.
And that means you're going to host me way more, right?
Exactly. I'm going to host James more, which means I'll be able to expand on other shows and expand on this show.
Maybe start up a real estate business on the side.
Yeah. So look out for that as well. We're going to try and do DFH weekly. I will force James to do it from his job.
I'll do it over the phone if I have to. Yeah. We will not miss more weeks.
And we're going to try and get more guests. Like I felt like this week we wanted to come back to just two to bring it back. Like, hey, we're still here. And we had a lot to talk about because we had a lot to catch up on. Next week, we can specialize in more topics. This week was more of like an overarching of like what's going on. So we'll try and do that for next week. Hope you guys enjoy the show. And yeah, thanks for joining me, James. See you next time. Later, guys.
On DFH Stadium.
Power level 9001.
Champion.